What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only, Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, what's happening today, man?
Oh, had a good day yesterday. I'm looking forward to a nice good day today. Spent the morning sharing some of the good news with my parents, and I like to keep that energy moving.
That's awesome, dude. We always like good news, and today we have some bad news for the show.
Oh, no.
Here's what's coming up on today's show. Horizon Forbidden West will arrive next year. Sony, yeah, it was pretty disappointing to see, but not surprising. Sony could be changing up the PlayStation storefront, and some PlayStation Plus members are getting locked out. Well, you can always join us live right now over on twitch.tv/theofficialITG, as well as YouTube. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside thegame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe, of course. Scott, you ready to get into what we all kind of expected was going to happen anyways?
Yeah, we better deal with some of this bad news.
Unfortunately, right? Let's get it out of the way. Horizon Forbidden West arrives on February 18th, 2022. Mathis DeJord took to the blog, PlayStation Blogcast, and said, "It's been a few months since we shared the first Horizon Forbidden West gameplay experience during State of Play, where we showed you a glimpse of where Aloy's journey will take her next and showcased exciting new elements like swimming, free climbing, expanded melee combat, and more. At that time, Horizon Forbidden West has just passed a major milestone, and we enter the final stage of development, on track, but a bit uncertain on if we be able to polish the game to a level of quality we strive for." Dude, we all kind of speculated that, didn't we?
Well, I know you very specifically did, and I think you even mentioned February being the kind of fallback date they would come to.
Yeah, so honestly, I kind of thought we'd see it right around the holiday season. If not, get pushed into February, and sure enough, that's where it is. It's no surprise that our teams were hugely impacted by the global pandemic. We have been adjusting the new workflow, protocols, and other challenges while keeping our team safe and prioritizing the healthy work-life balance. Today, we're delighted to confirm that our long-awaited sequel is coming both to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 on February 18th, 2022. Pre-orders start on September 2nd. Dude, who needs to pre-order anything anymore?
Yeah, oh, that's a good point. It's not like they run out of discs on the marketplace.
No, it seems a little bit odd, doesn't it? So look out for more information on that next week. Apparently, with the decision to move the game's launch to 2022 certainly wasn't easy. We'd like to see it take a moment and thank all of our fans for the unwavering support. Dude, you know what? It is what it is. It's not easy to make a game, and if they need to push it and delay it a little bit longer, I can wait a few more months to make sure we have that perfect experience when we jump into the world of Aloy once more.
Yeah, what they showed off in that presentation a couple months ago now, I think we watched, and it looked quite amazing. There was a lot of different things added to the different creature you were fighting, all the water areas. There's a lot of stuff in this game that seemed bigger scope than the original. So
yeah, exactly, right?
It's not much of a surprise. Every development basically has been slowed down or delayed because of the COVID, but it's not surprising terribly to see, but it is not good news.
Well, so now I'm kind of curious to see like what's on the holiday lineup then for PlayStation. Like, what can we expect to see, right? So we made it almost practically through August. I'm kind of looking through right now into September. And when it comes to anything big, I'm kind of at a loss. Like, I'm talking about first party, okay? Kena, Bridge of Spirits is coming on September 21st. I thought, excellent. Okay, we'll have something there to play, right? That gets us through September. But that's coming at
like a good one.
Oh, it looks incredible, man. There's no doubt about it. And it's not coming, though, until like the near end of September. So we've stopped a little bit to wait for that. I'm trying to see what else there is that isn't third party. We got Deathloop is coming, exclusive to PlayStation 5. That'll be a short term, I think, exclusive coming.
Right? Yeah, I was going to ask you. I'm not sure what I've heard now, actually. Is that fully an exclusive? Is it just timed?
I think it's going to be timed. Dude, it's owned now by Microsoft. There's no way they're going to keep that just over on the PlayStation platform. I think they're holding the deal for now, obviously, because that's how it was signed before the purchase of ZeniMax. So that's going to buy them some time over on the PlayStation, and that gives them something then to play as well, us to play on the world of PlayStation for the PS5 come this holiday season, because we are looking like, that's why I said, dude, I'm going through the lineup, and everything right now in the lineup is kind of just everywhere. So
yeah,
what's going to pull you onto the PlayStation, right? It's a little disappointing to see the big heavy hitters like Horizon get pushed to February, but again, you just make it a good solid game, because we've all seen the ramifications of what happens when it's not. But
I was gonna say, what competes on with December 8th for PlayStation side? December 8th has now been made a pretty big date on the Xbox side.
Yeah.
Is there an answer for that PlayStation has? Is there something that's been worked on that is announced, but there's nothing that I can really think of? There's nothing that comes to mind that would be an absolute AAA hit.
No, not at all, right? So Deathloop is coming out on September 14th. So then that gives us October and November and December with a big old question mark of what else are we going to see, right? Like, that's now, if you're in on the PlayStation console and that's all you have, then you're not going to be short on games to play. But when I'm talking about like solid exclusives on that platform, what do you have? But then again, let's compare it to Xbox. Scott, really, what do they have? They have Halo on December 8th, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of one of those things, we're both kind of left in limbo right now, comparing both consoles, kind of going, they're really relying right now on the indie side and third parties.
It's strange. I've never seen a launch of a console. We're a year on now from the launch, really.
Sure.
I've never seen a console release go this way, with almost no exclusives, no launch titles that really stick out. It's
just sit and wait,
kind of
right?
It's kind of just been a bit of a sad one so far.
Unfortunately.
I'm not disappointed at all with the hardware that I have. I think it has a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
I got to get it clear. I'm not complaining about the Xbox that I have. I think it's great.
But
I would have liked to have Halo with it day one.
Absolutely. I would have loved to have seen Horizon been there on day one for PS5, and I did not expect it. And then when they said, like, Herman Hulse came out and said, we might see it this year, we might not. I'm like, that's a no. Like, that's not happening this year.
Yeah, he knows. So.
Exactly, because they are so hard and difficult to make. There's a lot of moving parts going on, especially now with the pandemic. Everybody's at home. They're not in the same building anymore, working under one roof. They're kind of all at their own roofs, working away, trying to get stuff done. So it's the fact that they're even able to produce a game in a pandemic says something about the team right there. So I'm just excited to play the game, dude. I can't wait, but we're gonna have to wait till February 18th. It is what it is. But dude, PlayStation more. Let's get on with more PlayStation news. Sony patent suggests a big change in the way for PlayStation Store. I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. Alongside the launch of the PlayStation 5 came a new digital storefront for all PS5 owners that, while differing in aesthetic, was essentially the same as the PS4 digital store. It seems as if Sony is planning on updating the storefront once more to change things in a big way. According to the recent United States patent application by Sony Interactive Entertainment, the company is working on a new update for the PlayStation Store that would provide even more information on the game that a consumer is potentially looking to buy. One of the most important takeaways from the patent application is that the updated store would help give in-depth information on the life cycle of a game relative to the point of purchase. What do you mean by life cycle, Scott? Essentially, the patent would help give the buyer a better sense of how well the game in question is being supported. For example, live service games like Fortnite or Apex Legends would include detailed information about recent patches and major updates, confirming that they are still games worth downloading with live services. Really? That's a new little twist, because then they say you get taken offline, like the game like Friday the 13th, where you will never see another update for that game, right? So now you go in. I mentioned
that last night.
I know, I got your yeah. It's funny to think about though, right? But because when you look at a game like Friday the 13th and you go, man, they're never going to patch anything else for that game. Why would you want to buy that game now? There's no life left in that thing, right? So when you take a look at Fortnite, go, hey, we just saw a patch yesterday, or we saw a patch last week. You know that the longevity is still there a little bit anyways. So it's curious to see that.
We do many concerts a year. Travis Scott coming up next, or Post Malone, or something like that. It's interesting information to kind of put in there from a marketing perspective. And I actually have a personal story with this one that makes it seem relevant to me. I bought Chrome Hounds on Xbox 360, and I bought it approximately a month before they just shut down the whole server. And the game was entirely online, so it was rendered unplayable. And that's something I wish I had known before I put $30 on it. Back in the Blockbuster days, it was.
That was, dude. What was that game?
It was a Mech Warrior fighter, so it's very similar to Mech Warrior. I suppose I shouldn't use that term to explain it, but you customize a mech and then go out on missions to do various objectives or fight an enemy team, and then exfiltrate back into safety. It kind of worked as Vigor does in that way, where you're just collecting all these supplies and then bouncing back out to base. But
man,
it was really great, really short-lived for me.
But yeah, absolutely. Sounds like you're right. So this could help prevent that kind of scenario happening, which I think is a great move from Sony to do that. We've seen little tidbits of updated UI with the PlayStation Store, and you kind of hope when the PlayStation Store initially launched, it was a web browser and it took forever to load. So now they've gone away from that, thankfully. But adding in this little extra bit of information can go a long way, especially when it saves you something like that scenario, Scott, where you purchase the game and you haven't seen an update for months or a year. And you kind of question whether or not you should buy it, especially when it's online, like the Fortnite or Apex Legends, right? Where the community lives and breathes the fact that the game is still running. If it's not running anymore, then why would you want to spend that $30, $40, or even buy the Battle Pass in this case? Right, with the live service
for
game.
Online games, it absolutely makes sense. But back in my day, video games were made the moment they left the factory. That was it. No day one patches and nothing like that. But games just don't stand on their own legs like that anymore.
No, not at all. Right. I think the longevity is because of the internet and the ability to update, bring out new patches, bring up new seasons, right? We're getting new content all the time. You take a look at Apex, Fortnite, even Call of Duty,
Halloween
stuff, right?
events.
Yep. Well, that's just it. Seasonal content now is able to come around, right? Like how, dude, you'd never be able to do that with a cartridge. Never.
Yeah.
So yeah, the fact that games are now at a state where they are, it just kind of extends the longevity of the experience, because we're constantly getting, well, I was just looking at it yesterday. Overwatch had a Halloween patch, right? Because we're never mind. We'll talk about that later. But either way, they have seasonal content that keeps coming, and that just helps, get you ready for the next season, and it brings in new stuff. Like we talk about it all the time. Rainbow Six Siege, they're on to the next season, right? And it just keeps dropping more operators. They're going for 100 operators. We're like halfway there, and this ability now, because of the internet, allows them to keep that game alive. Dude, if you ship that out when they shipped Siege initially, the game would have been dead, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah, that would have been dead on arrival, just about. I tried to play it when it was about a year old, and every time I pulled the trigger, my game would completely freeze and then just disconnect. And really? I don't know how anybody played that game under those conditions.
That's Well, speaking of not being able to play, Scott, let's get into some PlayStation Plus subscribers are getting locked out of their free games. Oh man, a worrying issue appears to have cropped up for the PlayStation Plus subscribers over the past weeks. Several upvoted posts from Reddit's PlayStation Plus community have reported that they've lost access to certain games that they've previously acquired as part of the PlayStation Plus subscription. These games include titles like Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and others. Sony has yet to officially comment on the issue, but is said to be looking into it. Dude, that kind of sucks to just suddenly lose the investment in your games. Well, you have now PlayStation Plus. You need to have Plus in order to keep these games. You can then let your subscription run out, but when you reinitiate that subscription model, then you have your games back and you're good to go. But to have that service, and a lot of people bank on just that service alone to play some of these games, to be suddenly locked out kind of sucks.
It does. I think to the Xbox equivalent, what if Game Pass games just stopped at a certain point? Yeah. And then I realized, they do though. But at least it's something that you're told about ahead of time. It's understood.
Yeah, it would be like getting into games with gold, right? And all of a sudden you no longer have access to it. That's just gone. And it would just be, dude, if you're in the middle of that game and all of a sudden you're locked out, that would really be irritating. But
yeah, that burns.
Yeah, speaking of burns, we have more burning over in the world of Activision Blizzard lawsuit expanded to include contractors, claims publisher shredded documents. What the heck is going on, Scott? Like, dude, the fire keeps growing.
It's crossed over from explicitly criminal to offensively criminal in this case. Shredding evidence, I believe that's perjury.
Well, okay. So the California DFEH also claims appointment of law firm WilmerHale has interfered with investigation. The state of California has expanded its lawsuit against Call of Duty publisher Activision Blizzard, now stating the suit is also on behalf of the company's contractors and claiming the firm interfered with its 2-year investigation. Ouch, dude. Axios reports the state's Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed an amended complaint on Monday, redefining the group it represents to include temporary workers in addition to female full-time staff it previously stated. The language throughout the complaint has also been altered, changing employees to workers, and specifically mentions anti-harassment, equal pay, and other equally employment protections that exist for employees and contingent or temporary workers. Dude, what are they doing over here? Axios' Stephen Totillo also shared a section of the document court via Twitter. Woohoo, Stephen, man. Whoa. I tell you,
that seems risky too.
Well, Steven, man, you know what? Shout out to Steven. If you haven't followed him on Twitter or over on Axios, the guy's incredible. He's been doing this for a long time. He knows his stuff. He has ways to get into things that are just mind blowing to think of, right? In which the DFEH adds a new cause for action against or around Activision Blizzard's alleged failure to maintain and produce records. After stating various laws that dictate what records and document companies should keep, the DFEH claims it issued a document retention notice to Activision Blizzard as soon as it filed the original complaint. This notice notified the firm of its obligation to not destroy or conceal or alter any documents or data relevant to the case. By telling employees to speak confidentially to WilmerHale, the DFEH claims Activision Blizzard has directly interfered with the ability to investigate, prosecute, and remedy the violations cited by its suit. It adds that during its investigation, Activision Blizzard refused to produce documents. Why? Regarding complaints and investigations of discrimination and harassment by asserting that they did not exist or they were privileged and confidential because attorneys were involved in the receipt of the complaints and investigation. Scott, what a disaster over in the world of Activision right now. The fact that... go ahead.
The first thing that I was thinking is, okay, maybe this is a misunderstanding and these records did not exist. But that still is not an excuse really for the main issue in this suit, for one. And it's certainly contrary to other laws that they've already outlined here. So it's just, if there was any sort of in-house discussion about these topics, there should, of course, be a paper trail about that. That proves that you were trying to do something about it. It seems likely they were not doing a whole lot about it to begin with. So maybe those documents are sparse, but it appears as though they've purged them or are trying to hide them in a weird way. And I don't think that helps their case in any way.
I'm curious to see how many people are actually following this whole scenario. Because yesterday was Gamescom, right? Huge event. Yeah. Over there was the Call of Duty Vanguard showcase. They revealed the gameplay. We're going to be playing as a sniper. Dude, it looked awesome. But how do you support that kind of company? That's the biggest takeaway from this. Do you want to support Activision? No, I don't think I really do at this point, but I want to support those that are working on the game, that put all the hard work into this stuff too, right? Like there's two sides, and what side do you play on, and which side do you let money speak and you don't buy the game, or do you support the game because all those people still put a lot of hard work into creating this incredible game, and there's a lot of hype around it. right?
In a harsh environment too.
Exactly. So that can't be an easy task to go into work having who knows what happened that day and the experiences and stuff going on, but yet you still powered through that and produced an incredible game. It's hard to kind of want to support the corporate side of things, but you want to support the employees and the people that actually worked on the game, right? There's two sides to it, and it just kind of, what side do people play on? And I'm curious to see what sales look like. I know I've talked to a lot of people in the last couple of weeks that are not too impressed with supporting them whatsoever. So I'm curious to see where everybody else is going to lie on that at the same time. Hit me up at the Artistic Gamer 28 on Twitter and let me know, are you supporting the next Call of Duty? Do you even know that this is even happening? That's the other side of it. How many people, Scott, don't even realize all about all the sexual harassment, right? Like, I was in a couple of meetings yesterday, dude, they were brought up in the meetings. Like, it was just one of those things, right? People know, if you're in the industry, you know exactly what's going on. But if you're that one person that just goes, okay, here comes Call of Duty, there's my game for the year, go buy that, and maybe I'll buy 2K and I'll buy something else, and I'll buy that. They only play 3, 4, 5 games a year, right?
And if that's the case, they're supporting this company, and then they're supporting EA in the case of sports games, which I have issue with for other reasons. But is this the pass of the Call of Duty era? Is it time to put this one to bed? Medal of Honor makes a resurgence. I don't know.
Oh man. I don't know either, but it's
Medal
just
of Honor, I think, is unlikely, but
yes, bro. We saw Medal of Honor actually go to VR, so we'll see what happens now. But it's just one of those scenarios. I'm curious to see now how many people actually know or are aware of what's going on, because it has made such a unfortunate splash in the industry that has actually trickled into other outlets that probably wouldn't cover the video game industry, right? Like, we're obviously covering this each and every day. This is what we do, so we know all about it and what's going on. But then there's other outlets that are on the news every single day too, covering their own thing that have nothing to do with video games, but suddenly now, because of all this stuff going on, they're heavily involved. So I'm curious to see where all that's going to lie. It's just one of those things that's interesting to follow, and it's unfortunate that it happened in the first place.
Yeah, but we want to see a good end to it in some regard. There's question as to what is the way to deal with this. How do you handle this moving forward? But they have to figure something out.
Absolutely. Scott, why don't we move forward with what games are out for today?
We have some interesting titles here, actually. Spur on my imagination. The first title is Proto Corgi. And that is coming to the Switch and the PC. Did you ever play Nintendogs?
No. Did you?
I did. I had one of them. I think I had Chihuahua. Not my choice, but a friend of mine gave it to me, and that was an interesting one. This is immediately what I think of. No idea if the game has anything to do with that, but it's on Switch and PC. That makes me wonder.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with that at all. It's got nothing to do with that. Have you seen?
Is there Nintendogs? Is that still a thing? Are they on the Nintendo Cats yet? Can I get that
man. Wow. Wow, this show is going south now. It's Nintendogs. Yeah, I never played that game at all. Never tried it.
No, it was interesting. It was a thing of its time, though. And now we also have 2 other titles with an interesting name. Yep. That being Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are now available on the Switch.
Dude, which is a fantastic game. Did you play Spelunky?
I had never played it myself, but I saw a friend of mine play it.
You played Nintendogs, but you didn't play Spelunky.
I think I was 13.
Oh man, it's if you haven't played Spelunky, dude, honestly, on the Switch would be a fantastic way to go too, because it's there, it's accessible, it is on the go. You can take it, play for a couple minutes, or you can get sucked into like hours. It is one of those. Oh man, it's like it's one of those. You just keep going down, you keep spelunking, dude, and it's a challenge. The minute you die, you kind of start all over, right? You see how far you can keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself. It's man, it's a cool game, and if you haven't tried it, there it is. Check it out. You can see it on screen right now. But yeah, definitely one of those experiences you don't want to miss. However, Scott, that is going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, of course, thank you for hanging out with us. This is ITG Daily, the show that brings you all the hottest in gaming news. You can join us live all the time over at twitch.tv/theofficialitg. Make sure you stop by, hit us up with a follow, or hit us up on YouTube as well. But if you can't join us live, check us out, InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.